The laughter echoed through the dusty hallways of Maplewood High like cruel thunder. A small-town teacher, dressed in modest clothes with glasses slipping down her nose, walked quietly toward her classroom as a group of seniors snickered and mocked her every step. They called her weak. They said she was too soft, too fragile, too boring to matter. To them, she was just an easy target, a plain teacher in a forgotten little town. What they didn't know, what no one in that building suspected, was that beneath her calm face and quiet demeanor lived a woman with a past sharper than steel. She wasn't always a teacher. Once she had been one of the most relentless investigators in the FBI, an agent who chased shadows, stared down criminals, and risked her life in places where most people wouldn't dare to walk. But she had buried that life years ago, choosing peace over chaos. And now fate was forcing her to remember who she really was. Before we go deeper into this incredible story of courage and hidden strength, let me pause for just a moment. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the powerful stories that remind us of the resilience inside ordinary people, then please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Kindness fuels. Don't forget to comment below what kindness means to you. Your support helps us bring these moving stories to life. Her name was Clare Matthews. On the surface, she was just another small-town teacher in her early 40s with a gentle smile and soft-spoken ways. Students often thought of her as timid, someone they could walk over without consequence. In truth, she had chosen this quiet life after leaving behind years of chasing criminals and facing dangers that could have ended her at any moment. Maplewood was supposed to be her refuge, a place to breathe, to heal, to give back by teaching young minds. But as fate would have it, bullies exist everywhere, even in small towns, and they always find someone to feed their cruelty on. The bullies at Maplewood were not ordinary children acting out of mischief. They were a group of seniors who thrived on intimidation, making weaker students fear them, mocking teachers, and laughing at anyone who didn't fit their standard of strength. For weeks, Clare endured their cruel jokes in silence. They scribbled graffiti on her chalkboard, left mocking notes on her desk, and even laughed openly during her lessons. To the outside world, she seemed too soft to fight back. To the bullies, she was powerless. What they didn't know was that her silence wasn't weakness. It was restraint. She was holding back the storm inside her. One afternoon, everything changed. The bullies took things too far. They cornered a quiet student in the hallway, shoving his books to the ground and mocking him while others watched. Clare happened to pass by at that very moment. She saw the fear in the boy's eyes, the same fear she had seen countless times in interrogation rooms when victims faced their tormentors. Something inside her snapped, not with rage, but with clarity. She realized she could no longer stay silent. Her students didn't just need a teacher. They needed a protector. That night, Clare opened a wooden trunk hidden deep inside her closet. Inside were pieces of a life she had walked away from: old FBI credentials, case files, training manuals, and a pair of worn combat boots. Her fingers trembled as she touched them, not from fear, but from awakening. The world thought she was just a quiet teacher, but she knew she was so much more. The next day at school, when the bullies tried to disrupt her class again, Clare stood taller, her voice firm, her gaze unshakable. The students were stunned. This was not the timid teacher they mocked. There was something in her eyes, a razor-sharp focus, an authority that demanded silence. Without raising her voice, she took control of the room in a way that sent chills through even the toughest of bullies. But her fight didn't stop there. She knew intimidation wouldn't be enough. Bullies thrive when adults look away when authority bends. So Clare began to gather information, subtle observations, patterns of their behavior, and even hidden details about the ringleader family troubles. With the precision of her FBI days, she mapped out their weaknesses, not to destroy them, but to guide them toward accountability. When one of the bullies vandalized school property, Clare presented undeniable proof to the principal, leaving no room for excuses. When another spread lies about a fellow student, she quietly uncovered the truth, exposing the deceit in front of the entire class. Bit by bit, their power crumbled. The bullies began to realize that the woman they laughed at was not just a teacher. She was someone who could see through them, someone who could outsmart them at every step. For Clare, the fight was never about revenge. It was about teaching. She didn't want to crush the bullies. She wanted to reform them. She remembered her FBI training, how even the toughest criminals were often broken children, hiding behind walls of anger. So she reached out not just with discipline, but with compassion. She made them work on community projects, held them accountable for their actions, and slowly showed them what true strength looked like. Not cruelty, but courage, responsibility, and respect. Months passed, and Maplewood High began to change. The same students who once mocked her now sat in awe as she spoke. They listened, not out of fear, but out of respect. The bullied students found courage to stand taller. Even the bullies themselves began to soften. Some resisted, but others, for the first time in years, began to see a different path. Clare Matthews had done what few could. She had transformed pain into power, mockery into respect, and a forgotten town into a place of hope. She showed everyone that true strength isn't about fists or threats. It's about resilience, wisdom, and the courage to protect others even when it's hard. And now, dear listener, if this story of Clare's hidden past and quiet courage has touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Kindness Fuels for more powerful emotional stories. Your support helps us keep spreading kindness and resilience across the world.